Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you all of my social deduction games. I'm going to be explaining what a social deduction game is in case any of you out there aren't quite sure what I am talking about. So stay tuned to see what games I have, and maybe there might be a game that you would like to try out and play. Hi everyone, my name is Alisa and this is Alisa's Loves, where I share all things board game and physical media related, and today it's about my board games that I enjoy. So social deduction is one of my favorite types of games. It's kind of like, you know, if you know what party games are, it kind of reminds me of that in a sense, because they, in my opinion, are just really fun, and you end up kind of laughing, and they're usually pretty quick, and you need to play with several people, so usually a large amount of people. And so for me, it kind of reminds me of a party style, so you'd probably be with a bunch of friends or family and get together, because for social deduction, you're deducing, you're going to be deducing players within your game, and so you'll need several people to play it. Let's just kind of jump into what I consider to be a social deduction game. If you want a better definition, then I would recommend going to Board Game Geek and looking there. So for me, social deduction is everybody has some sort of role, or it's like a hidden role or hidden character or something that nobody else knows about for the most part, and so you're given your card or whatever it may be, and you know if you're on a team or what role or character you are. And so you look at it and you want to keep that hidden. In a lot of social deduction games, you end up, usually the whole group has to close their eyes, and there might be a mediator or a narrator, or sometimes there's an app that tells you what to do. So typically you have to close your eyes, and then if you're on a certain team, those people might get to open their eyes and see, okay, I'm on your team, whatever you may be. And you each have your own objective and goal that you have to meet within it. So you typically, some people end up finding out who's on their team, and others will absolutely still have no idea. Again, depending on what team you are or what game you're playing. But that's pretty much it, and then you're all kind of trying to figure out who's who. So for example, if you're playing a game about werewolves, there'll be probably one or two people as a werewolf, and they're on a team, and everyone else is trying to figure out who the werewolf is. And so you're deducing what people are, and this is a game where you're going to have people lying. You don't have to lie, but sometimes lying helps you out. And but again, you don't have to. I've played many games where I didn't lie, or I had friends who didn't lie, and so it's not a requirement. But this can happen. It's totally one of those games where it's okay. You can be lying and then completely trick somebody because you ended up being the werewolf and totally convinced everybody that you weren't. But that is the fun part, because in the end, you might have gotten away with it and everyone's like, how did we not know it was you? Or you might be, some people are absolutely horrible at lying and everyone can just figure it out. I love them. I think they're so much fun, and unfortunately we don't play them as much as we'd like because we don't have a board game group that we're a part of, and so it's usually, you know, my husband and I playing games. But we definitely do take these types of games with us when we're with our friends and family. I'm going to be sharing with you guys which social deduction games I own. Yeah, and so maybe something might catch your eye and you might be interested in trying out yourself. So again, I do love these types, but I know there's probably some people out there, I've experienced some people who aren't as big of fans of these, because those situations sometimes can make people feel uncomfortable. But for me, I do enjoy it, and for the most part, I think they've all gone over really well with the people that we've played them with. You kind of have to go in with you know, they're just kind of silly fun. That's how it is for us. They're silly fun. We're usually having some drinks and lots of laughs go on, and it's just a fun time. Okay, well, let's just get started and see which games I have. So I'm gonna share kind of my the ones I introduce to friends first, and then once we've played some of these, I move on to introducing to them ones that are a little more complicated. I still think they're pretty simple, but it's good to kind of introduce them to one that doesn't have as many rules, to kind of get them the feel of what is a social deduction game, and then you can slowly kind of introduce them to the other ones. Right away, we always typically start with One Night Ultimate Werewolf. Love this one. You're either a werewolf or you're not. Lots of different roles, and you do need 3 to 10 players. This one has an app, which kind of makes it easy to, nobody has to be a narrator or a person kind of mediating everything. So we really like this. This has gone over really well as like the first introduction into social deduction games. This is one I backed on Kickstarter called Dracula's Feast. It's from Jelly Bean Games. I believe they just had a new second edition on Kickstarter that I didn't end up backing, but we really do like this one. It's not as much fun as other ones that I've played, but I enjoyed it enough that I decided to keep it into my in my collection. But I kind of liked the theme, and again, similar, you're trying to figure out different roles and you have an objective. But this one, I don't know if you can find it, but I know, like I said, I know they did a second edition on Kickstarter with different artwork, and that one will most likely probably be going to retail. The Resistance, this is on my shelf of shame, unfortunately. I need to play it. This one requires 5 to 10 people, but oh my gosh, I want to play this one so bad. I'm still mad at myself that I haven't. But I've heard that this is another really kind of good game you could introduce to people who aren't sure what social deduction games are. Another one I'll have to insert a picture here is Masquerade. We own it. We just took it to a friend's house the other night, and that one we really, really like too. I feel like I don't hear a lot about that one, but we enjoy that one a lot, and we have the expansion to it. We've played that with my parents as well, and they loved it too. So I really like that one. Okay, another one. This is, again, a game I tend to introduce to people who aren't aware of it, but this is called The Chameleon. You can get it at Target, or, you know, available online as well. And one person, this reminds me more of like the party type games. It says the super social whodunit party game. So everybody knows the secret word that you're supposed to be looking for, which are on these cards, except for the chameleon. So the chameleon has no idea, and everybody starts to give clues going around the table of what. So let's say the card was all about sports athletes, and you knew the exact sport athlete it was. So maybe it was Michael Jordan. Everybody's going to go around and give a clue about Michael Jordan, but the chameleon has no idea that Michael Jordan is the word that everybody knows. And so when it comes around to the chameleon, they need to be listening to everybody else and then come up with a word they think kind of fits in. This one's fun because some people are really good at being a chameleon and kind of figuring out what everybody else's clues are. But if you're the people who aren't the chameleon, you don't want to give like so specific of clues that it gives the chameleon the answer, because if the chameleon figures out the answer, then they win. But you also don't want it too vague, because then people might think you're the chameleon. Now, for me, this is a game we don't really play for points. It's just fun, and we tend to play it over and over, and we don't really keep track of points. It's more of a fun, silly game. But this one's kind of, you're trying to figure out who the chameleon is. And then the poor chameleon doesn't know what the word is, so they're trying to fit in. You want to fit in and not stand out so bad that they're like, it's you. So it's kind of it's got a little fun balance there, and we've played that quite a bit, and we really enjoy that one. Okay, next one is Spyfall. This one also requires it has 3 to 8 people. I've only played this one a couple of times, but somebody's a spy and you're trying to figure out the location. And if you're not the spy, then you already know what the locations are. And so anyways, it's another kind of fun one. This one, I think, we only play with 4 people. I think this would probably be more fun with more. I've kept in my collection though, because even with 4, we had a fun time with it. But I want to try it with more people. But this is another kind of fun twist on a social deduction game. Okay, so a lot of those are ones that I would start out playing, and then after that, like let's say we played One Night Ultimate Werewolf and everybody's kind of getting the idea of it, then I might bust out Secret Hitler. I backed this on Kickstarter. This is one of my favorites. I would say this one and the next one I'm showing you are probably my two favorite ones. But this one has a little bit more rules. It's not like super hard by all means, but it has a little bit more of a rule set than just like something like One Night Ultimate Werewolf. But this one, I just think this one's so much fun, and we usually are laughing. And anyways, so I really like that one. And I think my favorite of all of them is Deception, Murder in Hong Kong. I just shared this one on my February Loves of the Month. But this one, somebody's a murderer, and you're trying to figure out what the murder weapon and what evidence was left behind. And so someone knows who the murderer is, and they're kind of helping give everybody else clues. And then if you have enough people, you could have a witness. So the witness also knows who the murderer is, and that, I think, gives a whole other spin to the game, which I find to be really fun. But I just love this. We've played this game with some friends of mine that we probably played it so much it was like 3 hours straight of just this game because we were just having a blast. But again, I usually typically introduce one of the other games first. So those are my social deduction games. Let me know in the comments below, do you enjoy social deduction games, or did any of those sound interesting to you? Don't hesitate to ask me any questions, or you can send me an email if you want to know any more information about those. If you want to know gameplay and how they are, then I would suggest looking up YouTube. There's tons of good gameplay videos out there and reviews out there. So yeah, let me know if you enjoy these types of games, and if there's any that you would recommend, let me know. I always love learning about new games or trying out new games. So, all right. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you guys all later. Bye!